like to welcome everyone here tonight. We are now reconvening from executive session. This meeting was previously called to order, and notice the meeting was posted in the time and manner required. Every month at our monthly regular board meeting, we start everything off with a prayer and pledge of allegiance, and Mr. Martinez will lead us in that tonight. If you can please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that affect our students, teachers, and community. Continue to remind us that all we do here today, all that we accomplish is for you and in your service. Lord, as we sit on the brink of a new school year, I ask that you be with our children as they return to the classroom. Protect them from harm, give them guidance in the choices they make, and please provide them with a desire to learn and grow. For our teachers and staff, please provide them with patience and compassion. Help them to always have the right words of encouragement for each student, and help them to continue to show the enthusiasm for their profession throughout the school year. Give our parents willing hearts to serve you by spending time in our classrooms or at home, and to be actively involved in their child's learning. Let this be a wonderful year for everyone involved in education. We ask these things in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. All right. We've got a couple of items from executive session that we need to get through real quick. Reverend Mason.
Mr. President, I move to propose the termination of the contract of Tracy Schweitzer of Dixie Elementary and Elizabeth Parker Hughes of John Tyler High School for abandonment of contract and failure to perform the required services to the district.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, that motion carries. All right. That's all we got there. Approval of minutes from July 11th and July 28th, if you've had a chance to look those over. If everything looks good, I'll take a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes from July the 11th and July 28th.
All right, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Those are approved. We have one special recognition tonight, board members. I think we come down, no video, so if we can step down there.
Good evening, board members. Tonight, we'd like to recognize our very own Tyler ISD Financial Services Department for being awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting by the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada for its comprehensive annual financial report for the fiscal year ending August 31st, 2015. This is the 13th year the district has received this award. The Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting. We are so very proud to ask Ms. Tasha Bjork, our Chief Financial Officer, and Ms. Mary Russell, our Executive Director of Financial Services, to please come forward and accept this award. Thank you, and that concludes our recognitions.
Next, we have public hearing on the 2016-2017 budget. Is anyone here tonight to speak particularly on the 2016-2017 budget? All right. We'll move to the action items, and I won't get into that lengthy thing, but at this time I will entertain the motion on, we'll take these one at a time. Is that the right way to do this? All right. On item A, I'll take a motion on 10A.
I don't know how to say that.
Mr. President, I move that we approve 10A as submitted.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 10A passes. We got B on the actual budget. Do we want to make any more comments on that, Mr. Superintendent?
Well, we've had 2 or 3 presentations regarding that budget. There have been no changes since the last presentation at our workshop on August 4th.
All right. I'll take a motion on item B.
I move we approve item B.
Second?
I'll second.
All right. Any other discussion on the budget?
A couple more tidbits about that. Tax
All right.
rate's the same, although the values did go up. Tax revenue's up. Does include a raise for our teachers and 3% of midpoint for all others. Something to be very proud of here, awarding that from the board. Also raised the minimum teacher salary to $41,750.
All right. And even though local revenue went up, state revenue went down, I believe we talked about. So it's a somewhat complicated formula to come up with what TISD really realizes from an increase like that. Any other discussion?
The $41,750, that was intended to make Tyler ISD the highest initial starting wage for a teacher. Is that still the case?
I believe so. The project to actually do some of the compression within our salary scale is going to be about a 2 or 3 year process. So, but trying to get the starting teacher salary up to be competitive and leading East Texas is one of our goals. I think we've been able to accomplish that.
Any other discussion? All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Item B passes. Adoption of the tax rate for item C. I'll take a motion there.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve item 10C, 2016-2017 tax rate.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion?
Board and community, we're making sure the tax rate is remaining the same, although it will raise more for taxes than the previous year.
Do we know the last time this rate went up?
Probably 2005 or 6, isn't that right, CFO?
We raised the debt service last month, but the M&O's been the same.
M&O's been compressed since the mid-2000s when the state flipped the formula. Back when you could go $1.50 on the M&O side. I don't know if Tyler did that then. Do you recall?
No.
$1.42. So when it compressed, we went further back than even those districts that were actually at $1.50. And when it compressed, whenever we went to the $1.04, it really doesn't, I guess, if I'm saying this right.
We were able to raise it up to $1.04 at the press rate.
Right.
We did that over a couple of years.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I can recall an actual
Mid-2000s.
M&O raise in the tax rate. So,
And then beyond that, the 3 cents devoted to maintenance, how long has that been?
That's been in place since we started the construction program 10 to 12 years ago. Or 16 years ago.
Started like a penny in 99 and
So just
Okay.
for transparency and into the community, 3 cents of our maintenance and operations funds are automatically dedicated to preventative maintenance. So the painting that you saw at Robert E. Lee this summer, striping, paving, air conditioning units, that's already built into our budget because the community asked us to do so. We've been doing that now for quite a while, it seems. We actually have a resolution later on for board adoption for that exact commitment of 3 cents to our preventative maintenance fund.
Just another example of conservative financial practice for a long time.
Long time.
Long time.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded. Any more discussion on the tax rate? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. That's approved 7-0. Final amended budget, I guess, or maybe I shouldn't say final. Approval of 2015-16 amended budget. Need a motion?
I move that we approve the 2015-2016 amended budget.
Second.
Second.
All right, thank you. Anything we need to know in particular about this amended budget? Just, okay. All right, any discussion, board members? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 7-0. All right, we now move to public participation, and we have 3 speakers lined up to speak tonight. The first is Ethel J. Hawkins. Ms. Hawkins, you're here? There you are. All right, speakers, I will ask and remind you that if you can keep comments to around 5 minutes, we would appreciate it, and try to refrain from name calling and other such antics, which I know that's not Ms. Hawkins' style.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you, Ms. Martinez, for that beautiful prayer you opened up with. Our public comments today are about the front page of Tyler Morning Telegraph newspaper, Saturday, August 13, 2016, the article entitled, Tyler ISD Improves State Accountability Ratings. We praise God and rejoice that only 3 of Tyler ISD 25 campuses were rated improvement required, down from 9 campuses in 2015 and 11 in 2014. The question is, what impacted the 3 campuses to still be classified as improvement required? This has greatly concerned us as pastors, and we made contact with the 9 pastors and congregations who attended or had a church representative to attend the first Tyler ISD Faith Action Network fan meeting in October 2014, to see if maybe we could reconvene and put our focus and efforts together to see how together we can make an impact and ask the question, how can we help the 3 schools to receive MET required standard rating in 2016-2017 school year? We pastors asked ourselves the question, God, why did Griffin Elementary School receive needs improvement designation for the 4th consecutive year, and Dogan Middle School and Jones Elementary Math Science and Technology Academy returned to the list for the 3rd consecutive year? During the summer 2016, we talked with students, parents, family members, pastors, congregations, faith-based representatives, and law enforcement officers to help us understand the challenges facing the students and parents of the 3 remaining improvement required schools. Much to our amazement, many children, parents, and family members in Tyler ISD are affected by incarceration of parents and family members. Some children have both parents incarcerated and have grandmothers and grandfathers trying to raise them on a fixed income. When some children get to school, their learning is impacted by the home challenges they face before they even get to school. Some children are impacted by the home challenges they face when they return home after school and during non-school hours on the weekend. Research shows that over 24 million children are fatherless, without a father in their home or in their lives. What can we do as a community of pastors, faith-based representatives, and nonprofit organizations. There are other areas that affect children learning, such as abuse, childhood molestation, bullying, low self-esteem, illiteracy, obesity, prostitution, sex trafficking, and thoughts of suicide. We have developed a female pastors and friends encouragement team, Together Everyone Achieves More, honoring and continuing the living legacy of Pastor Pat Mallory in her book, I Hear My Father Calling, So What's a Girl to Do? Pastor Pat Mallory's book is written to encourage others, especially women, to open themselves up to answer God's calling on their lives, regardless of what others feel. It is difficult to step outside of what is acceptable traditionally, but God will always prepare the way to where He is calling you to serve. Our friends and partners, Prayer in the Park Ministries, which meet for prayer the first Saturday of each month at Burkeville Park from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Kendra Bircher is the founder of Prayer in the Park at Burkeville Park. She is a Robert E. Lee High School alum and a 5th grade teacher at Bell Elementary School. Her team of prayer warriors are also Tyler ISD alum, and their scripture focus in the Bible book of James is chapter 5, verse 16. SBM Covenant Relationship Church, they are having a Daddyless Daughters forum this coming Saturday. Attention, girls and women, to address the challenges that girls and women face. The theme is Come As You Are. We want to personally minister to you Saturday, 2016 at 6 p.m. behind the YMCA on the tennis courts. Crossroads Sports Church for Girls in real life situations. Standing in the gap, meeting girls at their crossroads through music, nutrition, and sports. I have a copy of the flyer here by the Daddyless Daughters Forum. Pastor Sandra Burns and her husband are the pastors. It's SBM Covenant Fellowship Church on McKellar Road behind the YMCA. And it says, Come As You Are, we want to personally minister to you. And again, that's this coming Saturday, the 27th at 6 o'clock at their church. And also, we're closing another announcement is Crossroads Sports Church International for Girls, Hawking Vision 3As. We will meet at 6 o'clock on Wednesdays, not this Wednesday, it's the first day of school, but we're going to start the following Wednesday, and it will be at Tyler First United Methodist Church, Pastor Clara Gilbert Love. It will be an after-school program, then Wednesdays at 6 o'clock p.m. Thank you so much for your attention, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker is Mr. Bob Brewer.
Thanks again. This will be short and sweet. And I guess I'm talking about the article that Ethel referred to. I spent the first half of my adult life doing research, chemistry. And I know something about numbers and what's possible and what's not. But in 2014, if you have 40% failing schools, and in 2016 you have 10% failing schools, it's just virtually impossible to swing that many students on a uniform, fact-based basis. So truth is becoming so hard to see in our media and everywhere we go that having numbers like this, and I know it's not you, it's the TEA or whoever that did it, it's just irresponsible to be misleading the public that we're improving, and maybe we are, but there's no way it can be that much. And I'd just like some clarity and some truth from this board. Thank you.
Next speaker is Mr. Jim Woolridge. Jim's here to talk about Old Griffin Elementary.
Thank you very much. What I really wanted to do this evening is to explain a little bit more about North Tyler Day Nursery and what we do. And I'd also like to point out that Bobby Garman, one of our board members, and Gary Pinkerton, a board member for next year. So I've got some support here, and I appreciate it. North Tyler Day Nursery does, in fact, help the children of North Tyler build a strong foundation for when they come into Tyler ISD, that they're good students and good citizens. And that's something that we do, and we appreciate, believe me, we really appreciate being able to have the old part of the old Griffin campus. We would like to, obviously, as maybe some of you know, we would like to have the whole campus so that we can have additional daycare facilities and have other children there. We believe we could, serve well over 200 children there. We have, since we've moved into the building, which is 2013 in December, we have put in ourselves, through funding, over $60,000 into the building, including the emergency doors that we had to have. Every classroom has cameras, and so we have put a lot of improvements in the building because we appreciate being able to use that building and make that the home for our children. We are just very happy to be there, and I just wanted to be here to thank the board and let you know that we are looking forward to working with you on a lease for the building. Thank you.
All right, that's all the speakers we have for tonight. We'll move on to business, legal, finance, consent agenda. Number one is the resolution to commit fund balance of the general fund and the preventative maintenance fund. Dr. Crawford.
Yeah, as mentioned earlier, Mr. President, we have been practicing this for over, I guess, 16 years now, 15 to 16 years, and I think it's a good covenant with the community, a good commitment with the community that 3 cents of our M&O tax rate, which is committed to the protection of our school buildings, both new and old. If you haven't been to Hogg lately, some paint we've slapped on the inside of that building that was built in 1930 sure does dress it up. We did some flooring work out of the preventive maintenance fund as well that was able to extend the lifespan of that building quite a bit. From that to actually taking care of these newer buildings that have been bestowed to us by our taxpayers, we are certainly pleased to bring this resolution in front of y'all to consider.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Crawford. And actually, I jumped the gun a little. Is there, are there any that y'all would like to pull from this, or that you want taken individually, other than A, since we've already done that?
We'll need to pull B, gifts and donations.
All right. Any others that you guys want pulled? All right. Well, let's go ahead and we'll do A since we just discussed it, and then we'll go on from there. So a motion to approve item A on the preventive maintenance fund.
I move that we approve item A.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Yeah. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that carries. So right now we're pulling B. Anything else?
Let's pull E as
Here we
well.
go. Okay. Yeah.
I believe C is important. Yes, sir.
Oh, so
Teacher
you're not
said-
saying that the others aren't important.
Right, yeah, right.
It's just that that one.
I'm still a little in shock from it.
Yeah.
All right. So at this point, we'll take a motion to approve items D, F, and G and H.
I move that we approve items D, F, G, and H.
Very good. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, that carries. Next is gifts and donations.
Yes, I absolutely love this part of my job, bringing these gifts and donations to the dais for the board to take action individually upon. This year, this board meeting, we're actually celebrating the Andy Woods PTA, donating to Andy Woods Elementary at the tune of $8,500. More PTA to Moore Middle School for $5,000 as well. We appreciate all of our parents and and our students who generously give their time to raise these type of funds to go back into the school.
All right. Let me get a motion on that, and then we'll get some discussion. Motion on our gifts and donations.
I make a motion that we accept the donations.
All right. Ladies first. Ms. Washington, second.
Award 2 medals.
All right, Mr. Martinez. All right, any discussion on these two donations?
2 great schools, 2 great PTA programs, both Woods and Moore. Got some really good things going on over there. A lot of community support. It's always good to see. So well done. I'll say that much.
Thank you. Any other? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, item B carries. Move on to item C. Teacher incentive.
We spoke at of this at Convocation this last Friday, that we had quite a success participation with offering these incentives of teachers for, I think it was $250 each 6 weeks, the last 6 weeks, or the last 6 weeks of the school year. Then that crescendoed last Friday at our Convocation, to where actually 2 teachers were actually their names were put into a hat, $1,500. This year we're proposing that we increase that. We had enough success with that. We'd like to bring it in front of the board to increase that to 2 separate drawings to win actually $2,500, but it'll actually be for the entire school year. So beginning Wednesday, well, we're hoping that we'll have some folks that have great attendance. We do realize that life does get in the way, and we certainly don't want to discredit those that may have a health issue or maybe have some family issues, or maybe have a sick kid. But some of our staff certainly can't afford to do this, and we certainly can afford to actually have this incentive. And it's important that our teachers are there every day. It increases student attendance, which means they come to school more often. That means that our kids are exposed to the good stuff, the curriculum that's provided to them by the expert, by the credentialed teacher, instead of the substitute teacher. So I think it's a good plan to put this in front of our staff to see if they can achieve it.
I think it's a good way, like you said, to make sure that the kids are learning as much as they can. And since you've been here, we've been instilling a lot of different practices than we had from before. And I think stuff like this is kind of tangible evidence of the steps we're taking, and to where we can see these test results and these good reports coming out of the paper. We've, if you look back over the course of the last couple of years since you've been here, and I appreciate it, you and your staff, and we've been thinking outside the box, and you can look back in these minutes, see a lot of programs that we have, implemented, and I think it's a direct, even with our hiring, up in your admin, I think our test scores are a direct result of things like this. So I appreciate you, Marty.
Yes.
I also would like to say the same thing, actually, Mr. Washman. All of these outstanding programs that our central administration have put in place to encourage teachers, I believe, is one of the great results we have just witnessed with such an increase in the achievement of our students on the state mandated test. So I'm hoping that anything we can do to encourage our teachers, especially a teacher present is a teacher teaching and children are learning, we should continue to do that.
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll agree with both Ms. Mason and Wade, but it just came a little bit too late. I remember when I was teaching at one time, it was 2 years straight that I was not absent at all. So could we go back about 15 years?
We can make that retroactive, but since you serve on the board, sorry.
Okay, thank you. But I think it's a wonderful incentive for teachers, because once the student sees that the teacher is there every day, that encourages them to want to be there to see what that teacher is going to be doing for that day. So that's wonderful, Dr. Crawford.
We'll keep getting these great results.
We sure
We would certainly love to partner with someone else to make this a little bit larger. I think there's some, the sky's the limit of what you can vision, and some school districts, not school districts, but their partners look at cars, things like that. So anyways, I think that there's a future for that, and certainly we maybe can tie that into actual fitness and things like that we can do that. But certainly we are excited about our teachers. They did a great job this last school year. Our principals did a great job this last school year, and they were already doing a good job. They were close. If you look at the data, we were always close.
Yes, sir.
So anyways, I'm not going to go down that road, but we certainly are close, and even two of the three that did not make it, we're only 2 or 3 tests away from actually being successful, and they used to be in the 20s away from actually making it. So they're close as well. We're looking for a good year for them for next year.
Very good.
All right. Need a motion on item C on the attendance incentive plan.
With joy in my heart, I move to approve the teacher attendance incentive plan.
Very good. Second.
With joy in my heart, I second it too.
Give it to Gene.
All right. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Move on to the grant authorization to administration, with administration to enter a contract with the City of Tyler Master Planning Assessment.
Yeah, you can see the background information as listed on your screen here or in your book. The area around Harvey Hall and the Rose Garden. There's a map. There you go. Good. Including Windsor Grove Park, the East Texas Fairgrounds, the Tyler ISD's Mike Carter baseball field, Christus Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium, along with Harvey Hall. The city has proposed a master planning project to be conducted here over the next, year or so probably. Asked the fairgrounds to actually participate, has asked the school district to participate as well, and they're also going to participate to bring in a consultant, out-of-town consultant, I guess, to take a look at and see what this could actually become. Since it does include, that area includes some of our property, good stewards of the property that we do have, we're bringing this in front of the board to actually take action on our participation within that project.
All right, let's get a motion on that item if we can. Yeah, page 34, item E.
I'm interested to see it. I'll move that we approve item E. I'm interested to see what they come up with over there, and be happy to do our part, whatever that may be.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. All right, any discussion?
Dr. Crawford, could you elaborate on reasonable level and what funding you think that might entail?
Without specifically getting in there and seeing what our actual portion of the project is, certainly we brought this in front of y'all because it is an MOU. We don't anticipate it going above the board's ceiling amount of $25,000 of what we bring in front of y'all. I could probably venture that the district could be comfortable anywhere from the $10,000 to $15,000 range. If that's something that y'all would like to put out there for us, we'd be more than happy to negotiate that. If it's not feasible, we'd certainly bring it back to you, because if it gets to that number that I suggested, that would trigger that. So
what we're doing, excuse me, is giving you authority to enter into an MOU. If it happened to be above that threshold, you'd bring it back. Is that?
Sure, that's it, absolutely. And I don't anticipate it being above that threshold, but I surely wanted to be transparent enough to put it in front of the board and the community to show that we're participating. As far as the fiscal commitment on that, if y'all would like to set a standard for me to go forward with, or if not.
All right.
Well, there is a lot of, I'm not going to call it unused land over there, but underutilized, I think for sure by the city. And, I think it could be kind of a neat area. So I'm excited to see whatever the consultants bring.
May it be a win-win for all who are involved.
I hope so. I appreciate the city approaching us. They're putting in quite a bit of skin in the game on this. And certainly I think that the commitment level on their portion is actually going to be a lot more than what I suggested and recommended.
Yeah. I would say that anybody that has gone or watched revitalization efforts in cities across the country, every time it usually starts out like this. There's a reason areas need to be revitalized, and sometimes we have to get out of our own neighborhood and out of our own town to realize what other cities have done when everybody said, yeah, that place is worn out, or that area is worn out, or, you know, that was great 50 years ago. You know, we are the natural draw there with Rose Stadium and Mike Carter Field. So I can only imagine if we have 15 playoff games over there that all of those people would love to come and eat somewhere. From just talk in the community, they're talking about an entertainment complex. They're talking about possible restaurants over there. They're talking about, you know, all different types of attractions to bring people into this area and to serve the people that are coming to our facilities. So that also, you know, if that comes into effect, well, then more people are going to want to come to our facilities and be around there, because it's a neat place to be. So this is how I feel like these things get started, and I too applaud the city for realizing that this is a great part of the city of Tyler. You've got the Rose Garden there. You've got some incredible history with the Mayfair building, and even, you know, Harvey Hall is a facility that really there is a future for, I feel like. And I don't, you know, whether there's lodging that's involved, I mean, who knows what this consultant group comes up with, but they are very experienced, and they've taken on projects much more difficult than this, from what I hear.
You know, a city, sorry, Ms. Weiss. Hold that thought. A city north and west of here just got through dumping in $60 million and $30 million from the school district to build an indoor football stadium. And it's probably going to be nice up there, but we've already got our historical stadium here, and being able to capitalize on that as opposed to going out and trying to build something new, which I think one school district is going to have to build one for $69 million. We've got a great infrastructure already in place to build upon. As far as the school district is concerned, be a great partnership. Ms. Washington.
Thank you, Dr. Crawford. Thank our president also for saying what he said about this community, because I live in this community, it's right down the road.
Yes, you do.
And that's right, from the football field, and I would love to see it improve. Places to eat, especially places to eat. And, you know, so I'm glad that the city is looking into this. And even if I'm not on the board, when they agree with it, you know, it passes, I'm still gonna root for it, okay? Thank you so much.
Very good. I believe we need a motion and a second. We didn't get that, did we? Did we? Okay.
We did.
Any further discussion? All right. We will vote on the motion as presented in here, unless y'all want to put a specific dollar amount.
I think the existing practice of a threshold to bring back for board approval is sufficient. I don't think we need to amend this.
All right. All right. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that motion carries. On to curriculum instruction consent agenda. Any items pulled there, board members or administration?
I'd like to pull B, the high school allotment.
All right.
Administration would like to pull F, please. And we'll make a comment on H and I before y'all vote on it.
B.
All right.
In consent.
All right. If there's no further, then we'll go with a motion on A, C, D, E, G, H, I, and J.
I move that
So
we.
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Comments on H and I?
Yeah, H and I real quick. Those are partnerships with UT Tyler with their nursing and health services, health services for clinical experiences, along with TJC in the same way. That provides additional coverage in our nurses' offices for those practicums for folks that are training to get their RNs or their BSNs. So excited to have those two entities in our town, in our community, that can provide additional support for our students and our staff.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now I'll move up to item B.
Item B50 is the high school allotment. Motion for that, that is statutory for us to actually bring in front of the board to act upon. Mr. Hager, do you have any specific comments?
No, it's just so there's a lot of data back behind the recommendation about graduation rates, about dual credit completion rates, college readiness rates in STAR. I didn't know if there was any comment that needed to be made to explain some of the good trends that are taking place inside these.
You know, 2017, when the goal there is for the endorsements to actually be attached to the students to their diploma. Certainly with the CT Center, that looks like that's going to be something that's we're going to land pretty close to that. I don't have any data on hand with me right now. Perhaps that could be another, maybe at a workshop we can actually take this and actually provide the board some data on where we are in regard to these goals. Certainly our graduation rate, that goes without saying, we want every kid to graduate on time. And certainly down at the very bottom, as far as level 2 and level 3 standard on the state end of course assessments, that's what we're striving for. Some of that information will be available for you in your Texas Academic Performance Report, which is what they're calling that now, TAPER, which it used to be the old AEIS. So we'll be happy to present that to you guys whenever we have that data in ourselves and compiled.
Okay. All right. At this time, I'll take a motion on item B.
Excuse me, there's actually, before you go on.
Yeah.
There's actually data that does follow behind that in your packet.
Right.
Did you want me to talk about that?
Yeah, there's lots of good news buried back there. I was trying to give you a softball there.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Anything specific you would like for me to hit out of the park?
There's several areas where we're ahead of the state average, and I know there's much been made about where we fall short of the state average. This was some good news.
Yes, sir. Specifically with the graduation rate on page 55, or page 3 of this, actually. The district is actually at 89.1% on the graduation rate, the state being at 85.5%. And typically with mid-urban school districts like ourselves, it may take you a little while to get there, and some of the accountability system does actually not match up with the actual graduation of our students. We've been spouting that for a couple of years now, but not many folks want to report upon that graduation rate versus the state. It's pretty easy to take the actual numbers that come out that say that XYZ ISD is below the state average. Well, from what I can probably gather, there's going to be a third that's above state average, there's going to be a third that's state average, there's going to be a third that's below state average, or it could be a half. But in saying this, we can actually trump it. The Tyler ISD graduations rate is above the state average.
It looks like in both page 3 of that, which is the recommended and distinguished achievement program graduation rate, and just the high school graduation rate, it looks like, you know, we're even further ahead of the state as far as percentages go.
Right, 94.3 with the high school graduation rate, the regular 88.3, and then on the distinguished and recommended, it's actually 89.1 us, the state 85.5. There's a scoreboard right there for you.
You know, it's been the trend. I mean, I don't know. I've recognized even in the past, it seems, you know, in the early years, we do have a little work to do, and it's always the going's a little bit tougher. But since I've been on the board, the data has kind of always been when we get them to high school and graduate them. I mean, we're tracking, and you know,
sure.
I think it says something for the
now,
whole system anyway.
Yeah, and I always want to be transparent and give you the tough stuff as well. But on page 54, page 2 of the report is the advanced and dual credit enrollment completion. That's something we really we're making a charge at. I mean, so much that we transformed our org chart to have an executive director of college career that's going to be watching over that the entire time. We haven't had that before. And so since that's a big part of the new accountability system that's going to be coming toward our direction, it's a big part of it right now with Index 4, but I think in the new Index 4, or Domain 4, that's specifically going to be tied to college readiness and post-secondary readiness, which that's a big thing for the community as well, to have 60% of its workforce credentialed in some way past secondary school by 2030. So we're doing what we can to ensure that. And certainly we got a great resource in the Career Technology Center, but we're behind the state in that. So sometimes I think we get accused of just talking about the good things that we're doing, but there's something we've got to get better at right there.
So we're going to work on raising the number of students enrolled in these advanced and dual credit courses.
Completion, actually completing the course.
Very
So
good.
it could be anywhere from dual credit, being awarded dual credit, the credit from dual credit, to making a 3, 4, or 5 on an advanced placement exam, which is extremely difficult, to actually some of those certificates that you may receive in some of the more technical fields like welding and process technology. Those are certainly things that could be counted in Domain 4 of the new accountability system. We don't really know what that looks like yet. Y'all have heard that before, right? But in saying that, it could range everything from a kid that's going to, a student, excuse me, they hate being called kids. I got told that they're not my own house. From a student that's actually going to the Naval Academy or Princeton or Texas A&M, to actually someone who's going to stay here in Smith County who has been certified as a welder's apprentice. So that's a good range, because in the old days, the only thing that counted for you for college ready was what? Going to college. Well, I think we've come to our senses in education that there's a wide spectrum there for post-secondary readiness. It's about workforce readiness. Whether you go to the workforce or you go through college to get into the workforce, it's about workforce readiness.
Well, I have no doubt that any goal we set our sight on, we can achieve.
You know, I'll say this. Sorry. Our teachers and our students prove that they're not going to be defined by zip code, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status. So, there you go.
There you go.
All right. How about a motion on the high school allotment?
I move that we approve as recommended by administration.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any last discussion on that item? All right. Thank you for all the information there. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Move to item F, contract with Edgenuity.
Yeah, the reason I brought this up is this is an online distance learning virtual tutor program that we're asking the board to approve for use down there at the actual the student groups that we're asking to serve with this. And I just want to give you the heads up. DAP, obviously, that's y'all realize that we're moving over there. We use that curriculum for that. Also for homebound for medical reasons. In case you ever hear someone talking, that's the curriculum that we might use for homebound services. Overage students, at the students that have been assigned to the JAC, this is Juvenile Attention Center, maybe an adaptive behavior class, and then enrolled in the second year of German. Some of these teachers are getting harder and harder to find. And so with providing students the opportunity to actually get that second year credit, instead of telling them, sorry, you've got to start your foreign language over, we can actually do this through distance learning. There'll actually be an adult in that room with them as they're receiving the instruction, either virtual or through actually a computer system. And I believe with Edgenuity, Mr. Jones, am I correct in saying that 2 days a week is direct instruction, 2 days a week is actually classwork, and then that fifth day is more an advisory type of situation? Flex day, okay. Okay. Okay, that's a better alternative than actually putting a long-term sub in there where they're just learning out of a textbook. They're actually going to get instruction virtually. So I want to give you all the heads up about that in case you are inquired upon from our community members.
Might want to sign up, Joe. All right. Thank you very much. Is there a motion on item F?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the contract with Edge Annuity Incorporated.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion on that agreement? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion now carries. Okay. Superintendent, celebrate Freedom Week.
And carrying on our theme from convocation last Friday, we thought it would be appropriate for the board to receive a presentation. Dr. Christy Hansen will be making her way up to the presentation table to talk about Celebrate Freedom Week in accordance with House Bill 1776. How appropriate, along with the Texas Education Code of 29.907, presenting what we normally do here in Tyler ISD, and there's been some questions about that and how we execute that statutory obligation. Dr. Hansen?
So I wanted to bring to you some information about Celebrate Freedom Week. It is, in statute, it is supposed to happen the week of September 17th, which is Constitution Day. In 2012, the board approved that we move that to the very beginning of the school year. So we do it the first part of the school year. So I just wanted to start there. So in statute, it's the week of September 17th or another full week if approved by the local school board. It requires that all of the Texas public schools grades 3 through 12 acknowledge Celebration Freedom Week. And so what we're supposed to do there is we're supposed to conduct appropriate instruction during Celebrate Freedom Week, which is a week, 5 days of instruction. The intent, meaning, and importance of 4 specific things: the Declaration of Independence, the United States Constitution, the abolitionist movement, and the women's suffrage movement. So let me tell you what we do in Tyler ISD. In Tyler ISD, we use the first 5 to 10 school days for Celebrate Freedom Week, and it will start as soon as school starts. We'll have the first couple of days where we talk about what social studies is and civics and all of that, and then we move in to Celebrate Freedom Week. And we do above and beyond the statute. We start in kindergarten. And we begin there talking about the United States symbols. We start talking about the documents, the original documents of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. We help the kids learn the pledge. They learn the Star-Spangled Banner. And we begin right then building the foundations of the U.S. values that are so important. One of the reasons as a board that you approved that we move that to the beginning of the year is because every lesson we teach after that for the rest of the year is founded on those ideals and those values. And our kids begin to learn the preamble right there in kindergarten. We begin to do activities around all of that at the beginning of the year. So the standards and the concepts and the values we learn, we carry that through all the way through. So I've given you some sample lessons here. This is a 3rd grade lesson and this is just one sample lesson. Remember that these are 5 to 10 days. So this is just a sample lesson that the teachers can use if they want to. We do not dictate that teachers have to use specific lessons. We give them resources and then we monitor how they fulfill the curriculum. This is an example. In 3rd grade, create a collage using words and pictures that illustrate what life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness means. Include a summary statement with the collage that explains why the words and pictures in the collage were chosen. That's an example. We provide a rubric for the teachers then to grade that activity. This is a grade 5, and remember this is the first few weeks, so they're also working on, we integrated ELAR in this one, so you write a letter to a friend in another country explaining to them the importance of the Pledge of Allegiance and the Constitution Day for Americans. And then, of course, we want to make sure it's well written and all of the other issues. And then I also wanted to include Texas history because remember, we teach 7th grade and 4th grade Texas history. We still include Constitution Week and Freedom Week during those 4th grade. We do a lot of comparison between our Texas documents and our U.S. documents. And our founding documents in the U.S. So this is an example of where they're developing an entry for Wikipedia, making it, of course, 21st century relevant. And it goes all the way through 12th grade. They have government and economics in 12th grade. That's a required senior course. They do Celebration Freedom Week also, and the emphasis there is civic duty, your responsibility to be part of the political process, your responsibility to give back to your community. So obviously it becomes more advanced as the kids progress. One last thing, I just wanted to remind you guys, if anyone has questions about what we cover in our content, at any time we have a scope and sequence. We're always willing to share that. It's transparent. We're willing to let people know what we're doing at any time. They can contact me or Susan Grono as our social studies coordinator, in this case, a social studies issue. So any questions I can help you with?
And then we do that the first week of school, and then September 17th is Constitution Day.
Right.
And so then what do we do
We
on
obviously
Constitution
celebrate
Day?
Constitution Day because it's a big day. By that time, the kids have already learned the pertinent information. But for us, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Founding Fathers, that's part of all our curriculum throughout the year. So it is relevant information for us because it's part of the U.S. values that are so important for all of the kids.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
I think it's a great program. Glad that my kids were able to be a part of it. Thank you. Any other comments?
Just want to point out, so Dr. Hanson, you said that we actually begin the day with the pledge. I'm amazed at the number of people who are convinced that the pledge has been removed from all public schools, even here in East Texas. But what I heard you say was not only do we teach the pledge and do the pledge, we teach them the meaning behind the pledge as well. Is that correct?
Correct. And we also remember in our art class where we're doing the symbols. During Constitution Week, our art teachers are doing the symbols, and the music teachers are teaching all of those wonderful patriotic songs that are so important for us. So it is a full court press during Celebrate Freedom Week.
And not that I don't, wake my kids up every morning and make them say the pledge. I was very impressed by, I'm just kidding, but I was very impressed. I had a kindergartner, and anytime the pledge was said throughout the year, wherever we were, whether a football game, the national anthem, I could hear him singing the words, and I'm thinking, I know where he learned that, and I was pretty proud of it. So.
Right, we teach them to stop, we teach them to take their hat off. I mean, all of that is part of the curriculum that we share with the teachers, and they teach the students.
It would be wonderful, anyone would want to, especially if any board member has not had an opportunity to be on the school campus at the beginning of the school day. Every school begins with the pledge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
The entire school is saying it at the same time.
The pledge, the Texas pledge, and
That's
a moment
correct.
of silence.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That might be a little different at the high school. Isn't that right? Different period.
But they do it.
They do it all
We do
together.
it before attendance.
They
The
do it
attendance is taken.
corporately.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, they don't start their day. It's just where it fits in their announcements and things like that, the least disruptive to the minutes, because they're so structured that way. So we do get it corporately every day. And a moment of silence, which is also statutory as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we do stay one state under God, so one nation under God as well. But we also do the Texas pledge.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
And we also sing Texas Our Texas at the convocation.
Yes,
Y'all
we
missed that.
All hail the mighty state.
Yeah.
By memory, all of us.
Yes, we did.
Awesome.
All right, we've got some policy readings and updates for discussion.
Yeah, those are first readings. So without spending the next 3 hours describing those. You're more than welcome to read those over, and if you have any fine tuning that you would like us to bring back to the board, please alert myself or I think Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Vaughn are listed on there as some folks that can help us out, or we could dedicate another resource to you on that. So let us know.
All right. If there's no comments tonight, those will come back to us for approval in the very near future. And if you have anything between now and then, like Dr. Crawford said, feel free to discuss that offline. All right, then we go to future business. We've got first day of school.
Yeah, we're all a little giddy. So in anticipation of the first day of school on Wednesday, I've just kind of informally polled some of our teaching staff. They've been pretty appreciative that the first 2 days of the week have been work days. And so we'll start on Wednesday, have 3 days, and then have a full week at it the next week, and then actually Labor Day's backed up on that weekend. So the normal, I guess, end of the week tiredness that comes from kids and maybe staff maybe won't be there. And they'll get to the weekend and recharge and try and get back up. So we're excited about that. Christus Trinity Mother Frances Football Classic is this weekend, Thursday. It actually starts Thursday with Gilmer and Liberty Ilu on that. Then Friday is Lee versus Marshall, a good old East Texas rivalry. And then John Tyler and Plano West at noon on Saturday. We also have summer school graduation that's on Saturday. That's at 10 a.m. at Caldwell, followed by the John Tyler football game at noon. We have a board workshop on September 8th, and the regular meeting is actually on Monday, September 19th.
All right, thank you, Dr. Crawford. You're right, it is exciting and tiring time getting kids back on schedule for the real world after the summer.
I told my son he must have had a really, really good summer because he does not want it to end.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's a good thing, man. I mean, it means you had a good summer.
Yeah.
You're going to have a good school year now.
I'm not sure it works that way.
Yeah.
All right, board members, any other discussion?
I have a comment I'd like to make before we close, Mr. Chairman. I have listened to the comments from Dr. Crawford and the Central Administrative staff regarding the processes and activities that took place to help our students increase their achievement on the test scores. I haven't had an opportunity to say thank you so much for all that you did, and I know all that you will continue to do. We congratulate you and thank you for your efforts. And I want to compliment the schools for the work that they have done, and it begins in the classroom. So thank you to those teachers and those campus level administrators for all that they have done, and to continue to encourage the 3 schools, because they did make tremendous growth. And I want to just say I'm so happy and so proud of the achievement that has been made, and we want everyone to note that Tyler ISD is a great school district, and we believe in our students and in our faculty and staff, and thank you, Central Administration, for your leadership and your guidance.
Amen to that.
I ditto that. Okay.
See, if you don't know, if you haven't been in a classroom, I'll try not to get on my preaching here. If you have never been in a classroom, you'll never understand.
Amen.
But if you're in a classroom, and Tyler ISD has proven to everyone that in spite of the handicaps that students might have, we don't accentuate the handicaps. We accentuate their achievement. We take every child where they are, and we move them forward to higher levels of success.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Mason.
It's a different look right now. It's a different,
Yes, sir.
it's a different
Yes,
feel.
Yes,
I
yes,
think,
it is.
I think anybody who's been here, more than 4 years recognizes that, before that to now, it feels different. It feels different in the classroom, feels different in admin and on campuses.
Amen.
And I think that is all attributable to our new scores and levels. So we look to grow and get better.
Yes, we do.
And each one of those kids in our school system, they are known by their teachers,
That's
by
right.
their principals, by everybody. They know those children. They know what they are struggling with, and they know what it takes to help them overcome it.
That's it.
And we're going to overcome this in another year. So don't, think we're not doing this. The teachers are working hard for us to be successful. And I just don't care if people think we're not doing it, because we are. And the teachers are doing it.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen, sister.
I know our teachers and our students don't care what zip code they live in.
That's right.
That's right.
So we're not going to be defined by our zip codes. So
Amen.
we got smart kids, good teachers when they're pointed in the right direction, do great things for kids,
Yes, indeed.
That's right.
and great parents. And we have good parents.
All right.
I guess we'll be quiet now, Mr. President. We're finished.
All we have left is to adjourn, so it's whenever y'all are ready.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Texas, our team.